Hello again, this is Nick Roach. We're outside again, it's quite warm. It's the evening, so all the birds are likely to be going to sleep, so you'll hear them shouting. Hopefully we can get through it okay. Today I'd like to talk about speeding up the intelligence. Now again, this is something that the teacher whose teaching I followed, Barry Long, talked about this during his meetings. It never meant a great deal to me. Didn't need to. I was all about dissolving the emotion, and it was working, and I was doing it. And that was the end of it for me. But now that I'm talking to others about it and teaching it myself, I now understand why he spent so much time talking about it. Speeding up the intelligence. You see, we live in an emotional world, built of emotion. Emotion is behind the scenes, creating, running everything, every moment. But then as an individual, person, man or woman, again, the emotion is always behind the scenes, driving the thinking mind, driving the body, the action, the activities, everything. The emotion is in the psyche, driving everything even when we can't feel it. And then if something happens to upset us, or we remember something, or someone says something, or does something, we're watching something on television, the emotion which was already in the background is there, takes us over, and we're engulfed in the emotion. And I've created talks, little videos already about how to then face and dissolve the emotion, how to make the energy of the emotion conscious, which is what the process is anyway. One either goes into it, imagines the problem and gets engulfed in it and creates more emotion, more unconsciousness, or one holds it, holds the knowledge of the situation and holds the emotion, and that makes the emotion conscious, takes the energy out of it. So what am I saying about speeding up the intelligence? Well, in the early days when one starts doing this, a situation can happen and one becomes upset, angry, worried, frightened, whatever it is, resentful. And it can be a little while of thinking and imagining and reliving the situation, sometimes hours, when I say a little while, before one comes to the senses. And one thinks, what have I been doing? I've been lost in my imagination about this problem. I need to start dealing with it. And then one connects within, holds the feeling, holds the emotion, looks at the problem consciously, what can I do, and holds it. And every so often one will find one's got sucked into it again and imagining it and lost in it, and brings oneself back. I'm back again, right, I'm going to hold it now. And we'll do so for a little while, might only be a few seconds at start, and then where have I been? I'm back again, and this time I'm going to hold it. And that's the process. Now the more one does this, every time one brings oneself back and holds it for any length of time at all, one is denying the emotion from that bit of energy. One is making that bit of emotion conscious. One is becoming more self-aware and more intelligent, in the sense of the intelligence becomes that bit quicker. The awareness the bringing back to one's senses happens that bit earlier, that bit quicker, and that bit more frequently. So after a while of doing this, one will notice one hasn't been lost in the emotion of a problem for several hours. It might only be 1 hour, half an hour, 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, let's say, of struggling emotionally with this problem, it's, hold on, I'm back. I'm going to dissolve this now, I've got it. And although one still might be dragged off by the imagination, it doesn't happen as often, and one comes back quicker. The intelligence is literally speeding up. It becomes quicker than the emotion. You see, although the emotion is in the background all the time, even when we can't feel it, it's always there. Like I said, waiting to consume, waiting to pounce, it's always there. But it's still pretty slow compared with the intelligence. The intelligence is like the sun's rays, there in an instant. And the emotion is more like sound. It's in the physical environment. The intelligence is not physical. It's behind the scenes, it's the pure being. But the emotion is part of the physical separation, part of existence, and it moves much slower. And of course I said the emotion is creating all of this, but when you dissolve the emotion, I've said before, dissolving it inside, dissolves the situation outside, actually addresses it outside as well, but again, that takes even longer. Dissolving it inside doesn't make the outside situation disappear instantly. Actually, if you're in bed asleep dreaming and you reconnect with the being in your dream, you'll find the dream does change instantly. But here, it takes longer. You're in the physical existence, made of emotion, and emotion works very slowly. But generally, it works quicker than the intelligence. In this place, for most people, because the intelligence is bogged down with all this unconscious emotional energy consuming it. It doesn't mind, it's perfect as it is, but for the person living it, that makes us emotional, makes us unhappy, makes life full of problems and difficulties, if it is. So what happens, bring ourselves back every 10 minutes when there's emotion and we're back. 10 minutes, we're there, and we don't drift off as much, we don't lose it as much when the emotion's there. But one will notice at all other times in the day when there's no emotion, no problems at all, I keep coming back to my senses again. I keep coming back, I keep being aware. Whatever it was that was waking me up is now doing so more frequently and more regularly. I'm not having to do it. I'm not trying to hold on, trying to stay aware. I don't need to. The intelligence is already there. So when a difficult situation happens, the emotion would have usually got in there first and consumed one's attention for a while, but now it doesn't. The intelligence is already there. First, gets there before the emotion takes hold. Already watching, already waiting, already poised to deal with anything that comes along, anything that arises. And emotion can still arise, because like I said, this place is built of emotion. But the intelligence is almost waiting for it. It's not waiting in anticipation, it's just being, but it's totally aware. And anything that arises, what's that? What's that? And then when there's no problem, no emotion, no difficulty, the intelligence is already there. It's always there. It's never not there. But one needs to dissolve the emotion one way or the other to be in that state, in this state. And it can be done. For some people it happens by itself automatically. For others like myself it takes quite a while of dissolving it, making it conscious. But every step, every time the emotion comes up and one dissolves that little bit, then a bit more, then a bit more, till eventually every time the emotion comes up the whole lot is dissolved, because I'm already there waiting for it, in effect, without looking forward, just aware, and it arises and it's dissolved, made conscious. So the intelligence is becoming faster and faster. Not in the way of remembering facts and figures, not in the way of learning things or working things out. It's purely being aware and in the body, in the senses, fulfilling the sense of being before the emotion has a chance to take hold. I, the one being which you know you are, I, the space, am already there. Just pure being. Thank you.